Hey there, I'm Joe McNamee. This is bonus video number 2 in the I'm sick of seeing people getting ripped off. So this is the Buyer Beware series, and I'm looking at making the consumer a little bit safer. I'm looking at making the consumer a little bit more aware of everything that's going on behind the scenes before they step into the world of buying training, buying information from private type organizations. Okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is success rates. Success rates are really hard to establish and compare, comparing apples to apples, amongst different competitors. But one thing that really disturbed me, truly disturbed me really bad, was probably about 6 years ago. I learned something about the information marketing business, the seminar business, the boot camp business, that always didn't sit well with me. I've always done real estate deals, and I've shown people how to do it. I made a mistake of doing it for free, and they valued it for what it cost. I didn't help them, I hurt them, and I didn't realize it. But what I learned about success rates was that most of the competition out there, most of the people teaching real estate investing and information marketing, no, I won't say information marketing, but real estate investing, most of the real estate investing world, the success rate is like this. 92% of the people learning will do nothing with the training. That's pretty disturbing right there. It bothers me. It's like, why? What's the problem? And then when I watched the training and I saw it over and over again, because I was paying for that training not to get to learn how to do real estate, because we've done that for decades, but in all different shapes, sizes, and ways, and methods, techniques, and all that are very creative way back in the day before anybody even knew it existed. But the success, the 92% of the people not doing anything with the training, truthfully, the reason for that is their training was empty. It looked good. It was in great packages. Everyone was really professional, and there was really a lot of highfalutin taken care of and all this kind of stuff. But the bottom line is, it was a well-wrapped, a gift that was wrapped in a container that was much more valuable than the gift itself. And so people didn't have the right steps, didn't have the right information to really go out and make a difference and do things in a positive way in their community and grow their business. It was full of emptiness. And so then the second half of that number, if 92% are doing nothing with it, this is the worst part. 8% will have some level of success. So I want you to think about that. If we got 100 people in a room learning something, 8% is going to have some level of success. 8 of them are going to have some level. 92 of those people are going to do nothing with the training. So what in the heck are they there for? Well, some of them are seminar junkies. They just enjoy learning something new, and they don't intend to do anything with it. Or they're there for a completely different reason. Maybe it's to network some sort of product or service that they offer, and that's why they're there. Okay, so the 8% that will have some level of success, that's not very powerful. That's not a powerful statement, but that's a true statement from them. So it bothered me, and I couldn't stand it. And I'd sit in these events, and I got friendly with a lot of the people, and I'd see a lot of things happen to people where they were really upset. But when I would help them, or try to help them, because I wasn't standing 2 or 3 feet above the crowd on a platform, they didn't value what I had to say, and it was free, and they didn't value what I had to say. So I got to the point where I started telling people, look, if you want to see how to do this, what to do to solve your problem, just come to my office and watch. In a day, you'll see exactly what I do to solve that problem that you have. Not that I'm telling you how to do it, but you're just watching me do it, so that it doesn't occur to me, or I can fix that problem if it does occur to me, and I'll do it right in front of your face with my clientele, with my customers, with my deals. So that's where some of my training actually turned into what it is today, where I do my live deals right in front of my students' face. But let's go to this 92 and 8% again. So if we're in a room of 100 people, 92 of them will do nothing with the training, 8% will have some level of success, which means maybe they took over a house and didn't get it sold. They count that as success, all right? Or they got some really strong leads, but they weren't able to turn them into cash and put it in their pocket. Or it looks like there might be something that's going to happen in the future, but no one knows for sure. That's success to them. But the reason they're judging success that way is not by what the person was able to do for themselves. It's the story that can be told in the next event that sells more people into their training. So let's take the 8 people that had some level of success, and if we can get 2 of those people in the next training, so another 100 people in another room all over again, and there's 2 people go up on stage and they're not all that smart, just like the rest of us. They're just average Joes, just like us. But they were able to get 17 people to say, yes, I will sell you my house for what I owe on it, and I'm only 3 months behind. And you can have it, I'll sign my deed over today. That's pretty powerful in a room where people don't realize that you didn't accomplish anything at all to put money in your pocket. Do I have a whole bunch of buyers that want those properties and will pay me more than what those properties will cost to catch up those payments and make those monthly payments? Now you've done something when those people have actually handed their money over to you for those properties. Now that is impressive. But the people in that room, those 2 people stand up on stage and tell that story, and so poof, they're buying into it, because if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me, and if they can do this, I can do this, but they don't realize what this is. This didn't put money in their pocket, okay? So there's that part. All right, now the next thing that you need to understand is the speaker-promoter relationship. This bonus video right here could probably get a lot of people mad at me, and I'm not trying to do this from a everybody else is all screwed up and I'm the only one that's not. I don't mean it that way, but you have to understand that there's a promoter. The promoter has a list or builds a list or joint ventures with other people who have lists to put a message out in front of them saying, hey, we got this thing coming up. So the promoter puts all this time and effort and money into getting butts in seats, getting people into the room. I never understood this way back before I started learning how this whole speaking world worked. But the promoters put all this effort into it and money into it. Then a speaker shows up on stage. They pretty much don't have any money into it at all, but they've got the product. They've got the sales message, and they've got what's called the close. The close is not what they're wearing. The close is they give you a little bit of information. They tell you there's a whole lot more that you can learn to make it profitable for you, and then they build value in what it is that they're going to sell you, and then they sell you on that value, and then they give you a huge discount, and poof, now it's time to go to the back of the room to buy the product. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the way that world works. But if you don't understand that when that sale happens, so if it's a $2,000 thing that you just spent money on in the back of the room, $1,000 goes to the speaker, $1,000 goes to the promoter in the typical relationship. So that's a 50-50 split. So now the promoter is starting to get their money back by having multiple different speakers come up and sell products. That's why you'll see 9 sales pitches in a 2 or 3 day event to sell enough products to pay for the event to grow the list. The speaker isn't privy to the list of people that are in the room. The speaker is only privy to the ones who have bought in the room. So let's say there's 18 people that have bought. They get those 18 people's contact information. They don't get, if there was 100 people in that room, they don't get the other 82 names. So it's just the ones that have bought. So the promoter then protects their list to put it in front of, put another speaker in front of them to have another product for sale. As long as you understand that, you're okay. But if you don't realize all that's going on, you're buying everything under the sun that you're not ready for, don't need, or didn't intend to get that kind of stuff anyway, but the message was so strong on stage. So typically when you see an event going on, the savvy buyer beware individual who says, yep, I know this event's coming up, there's 7 speakers coming up to talk about 7 different things. I'm interested in speaker number 4 and this one thing that they have to offer. That's what I'm going there for. And go there for that. And don't get sidetracked with the shiny object syndrome. It's like, oh, holy cow, I can get this too, and holy cow, oh, and I need that too, and all that. Go with your knowing what it is that you need and stay focused on that. Now, the other thing I want to say is sometimes the promoter is also a speaker, and you'll find that in the bigger events and the bigger companies that they're promoting their own stuff, and then they have others who are selling things as well. Okay, so that's the speaker-promoter relationship there. So be cautious of that. In my events, especially in the basic events, nobody else is getting on stage to sell anybody anything. They're just focused on what they came there for, which was learning real estate investing from me, the way that I do it, so that they can go back to their city, state, or country and mimic what it is that they see me do in my state. Okay? All right. Now, this is another area that could get people upset. Let me backtrack just a little bit. So there's a sales funnel. Think about this funnel. You signed up for something that was free. You gave your name, your email address, maybe your phone number, maybe your home address, and you got something that was free. Maybe you paid for shipping, maybe you didn't. All right, but you're now on this list, and this list usually isn't sold anymore. It used to be sold a lot. Usually that doesn't happen anymore, but there are still people that sell, or they'll share lists with each other. So you get into the sales funnel, this free thing, and you're in there, and then there's constant promotions and constant, you need this, and you need that, and you need the other thing, that keep you into this funnel. And this funnel has a strong, there's no openings on the side of the funnel. There's an opening at the bottom of the funnel, but if it's a very well organized information marketing company, you can never get to the bottom of the funnel because there's endless products and services that are offered, because they'll bring in more and more people that have more things, new things that never even were known about 6 months ago, and now there's this new thing. And so you're constantly being offered something new. Okay, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're careful, you can discipline yourself and pick and choose the things that you need and want, not the things that you get the shiny object syndrome and go, oh my gosh, that sounds like that'll take care of everything for me. All right? So after I just explained that sales funnel, let's go back into the next subject I was going to talk about. The traditional education system. So after we're out of high school, we can either go trade school or we can go college routes, and there's other things too, but let's just use those two. Realize that's a sales funnel as well. That whole thing, everyone's being sold on the idea that if you continue your education, especially in the traditional world, you're going to be able to have a decent job and work 30 or 40 years and then retire and then live comfortably for a while and then die. All right, so you're going to make enough, you're going to earn a living in that world most cases. But here's the part that kind of bothers me about that. So this is again a buyer beware thing. I'm not telling you not to put your kids in college or any of that kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong, or for you to continue your education there. Education is a great thing. I never stop. I continue going to different types of educational conducive events that I might be learning what's being talked about on stage, or I might be learning the behind the scenes of what's happening to make that stage presence work the way that it does or did. But it's all about education for me too. But remember, in the traditional world, that when your kids, or you, or whoever, goes into that college world, the very first thing that the college is going to try to do is get them to choose what their major is going to be before they even know what they want to do. So they don't say first, okay, get your core out of the way, and then you start thinking about it, and let's work with a counselor and see if you can't figure out what your major is. They force it on you. Within the first couple of years in most colleges, you have to identify your major or you got to stop. And so they force you to choose a major. Well, what if you are in your first year or second year of the basics and the core, and you decide you want to go into the nursing medical field? So you don't know anything about it, you've never done it, but you decided, you know what, I seen a nurse one time or a doctor one time that really changed my life. So I want to go into this field. And then, partway into that field, you figure out you can't stand the sight of blood. Or you don't want to have to clean up after someone who has used the bathroom on themselves. And then now you find out that the non-glamorous side of that world is all about that, and most of it's that direction. So now you decided, you know what, I don't want to do this, and the college is perfectly okay with that, because you just bought a bunch of training, either you paid for it or someone else did, but the college made money off of it, and now you're going to choose a whole new field, and you're going to keep changing your major, what you want your degree in, you're going to keep changing it, which keeps you in the sales funnel, continuing to buy the education there. At the same time, the other fact that drives me nuts, and I think it has a lot to do with kids having to choose their major too early in their educational time, but it's in the high 70s, I think it's around 76% of people who get a degree don't work in the field that their degree is in. So their actual true job has nothing to do with the degree that they've got. So think about how much time has been spent. Let's say they've only done a 4-year degree. They've done a bachelor's degree, they haven't done a master's or a doctorate, gotten a doctorate. So they're in this program for 4 years, they've gone to school, sometimes it's kind of a little more than part-time for 4 years for a bachelor's, sometimes it's really hectic, and then sometimes it's really kind of laid back. But the bottom line is, 4 years has been spent to get a degree that they're not even going to stick with or ever do that field at all. And so when that happens, now they're going to go out and try to work for someone doing something, and they have a degree in this, but that job over there that they're getting has nothing to do with this degree. That bothers me. That bothers me a lot. Because someone's paying for that, whether it's the individual, the parents, maybe it's the kids paying for their parents to go to school. I've seen that happen too. Or it's the system. Maybe it's like in Georgia, there's educational funds that come from the lottery. So that money that's sitting there could be used for other things, but it's used for education, paying for someone to get an education in a field that they're not going to work in. So 24% is not a good number to me. That's failing. So 24% are going to work in the field that they got their degree in. 76% are not. That's really screwed up, and that's a huge waste of money. Taxpayers' dollars sometimes are part of this. Okay, so imagine if a person came into my world and they spent 6 months, a year, learning the amount of time that they're learning in a college program, learning from me. They learned how to not just make a living, but make a huge difference in the world, while they made they can make a strong income from that. Are they all going to get filthy, stinking rich overnight or after 1 year? Absolutely not. Will they all learn how to make a lot more money than they can in that traditional, let me go get an education and then go to work making $30,000 to $80,000 a year in most cases? They can do a whole lot better than that with a whole lot less work and a whole lot sooner. So in the traditional education world, my point is buyer beware. Be sure what you want to do with your life. And it doesn't matter if you want to work for someone else or have your own business. I don't care about that. I'm glad that everybody doesn't become a real estate investor, because then no one could make any money at doing real estate investing. But be sure of what it is that you want. Go and spend some time Not because the school said go do an internship, but because you chose to go take a look at, ask if you can just look over the shoulder of a person that does, or a few different people that do what it is you think you might want to learn how to do. Make sure you've got a strong connection with them and that you can really see what it's really like, and ask them, what are the things that you dislike about your job? What is it you don't like? Just the same as asking what you do like, because everybody goes down that road. What's it like being this? Oh my gosh, it's blah, blah, blah. But what do you not like about it? And beware of the person that says, oh, there's nothing I don't like about my job. That's not very typical, okay? So anyway, be sure of what it is you want to do, and don't waste the money that's spent on your education. Make sure that you're solid in what you want to do, the career field you want to be in, and you really know a lot about it before you actually spend the money or pull the trigger on getting started spending that money on that program. All right, guys. Hope I didn't bore you too much with that one. I will talk to you again soon. I'm Joe McNamee. Have a good day.